work. Okay, now it works, probably, I think. There we go. Alrighty. I think we're good to go. My brain has been fried for the last hour, but now we can roll. Lag? Is it lagging? It better not be lagging. Can we ban Hector for making trades? I think that's a great idea. All in favor, say aye. So what we've got planned here today, we're going to watch 2 games. It looks like we're going double trouble with Seattle. Week 16, they're playing Oklahoma City. Week 17, they're playing the Dreadnoughts. And then our Simcast games, Week 15, we've got the Lions and the Eagles. And then Week 14, we have a 3-way tie between the Steelers and Bengals, the Titans and Texans, and then the Explorers and the Monarchs. So which game of those 3, that's the wrong button, would you guys rather see? I'll vote for our game because, I mean, it is kind of important. If we lose, I might be a little concerned. Titans. That's 2 for their game, 1 for ours, none for the other. Steelers are going to be a massive W. Maybe not in Week 14, though, but I suppose that's a vote for the Steelers, another vote for the Steelers, another vote for the Titans. 3-3. I kind of figured the other game wouldn't win. Steelers. Pro voted against his own game. I mean, to be fair, it is only a Simcast game, so it doesn't really matter too much. Your new schemes and playbooks, yes. I also have to check Mr. Fitzgerald. Another vote for Steelers Bengals. All right, it looks like our game is winning 5-3, so we will Simcast that to start. We get to rip the Band-Aid off. I like that. Here's Mr. Fitzy. Do not Simcast me. Well, you didn't win, so we're not going to Simcast you. Is Olave in the slot? Yes, he is. What is right outside linebacker? That's a good question. Let me check. I would assume it's not that far off from where he was at safety. 70, and that's with morale drop. Is Metcalf in the slot? I believe he is. Yes, he should be. And then you want to see Cooper Kupp in a Jets jersey, and then we can get started. The Jets are, like, unironically an 84 overall. I've got to give Little Josh some credit. That entire defense has been, like, completely revamped. Last year, Jordan Fuller was the best player. Now he'd be one of their lesser starters. They don't have many great defensive players, but it's improved across the board. And obviously, Cooper Kupp exists. How is John Johnson doing? I don't remember off the top of my head, but we'll be watching him twice today. So I guess we'll see. He usually does really well in watch games, so I guess that bodes well for him. Hey Siri, are the Bengals going to win today?
I don't have the odds for that game.
That's not what I want. Siri, give me a number between 44 and 45.
It is 44.
44. Okay, that means Steelers. Can I set your X factors? I sure can. Did I update your scheme? Yes. Yes, I did. As long as you haven't put it in within the last 5 minutes, then it is updated. How is your team doing? So the Panthers are not very good. You have won a couple of games recently. Let me check the exact number. 5 and 7. Oh, 4 in a row. That's a little better than I thought. Lawler, Tucker, and Jackson. Lawler probably should have this now because Groves has his X Factor now. So I would assume Lawler will too, yes. There we go. Who's better in the slot? Well, Desmond King is a natural slot, but since it's Madden, I don't think it really matters. We want the Steelers. Which player did you get? The Panthers' top pick was Bailey Gabriel, the quarterback. He's been pretty good so far. I feel like they have another like 80 X Factor. Let me check, and then we can finally start. But they got another X Factor. I know that. And speaking of X Factors, Kelvin Pickney and Haley and Callaway both have X Factor for the Steelers, so congrats, Lenny. I think it's a defensive tackle. Juan Givens. Yes, this guy has X Factor. And Bailey Gabriel is Superstar. Breakout quarterback. Well, how can he be breakout? He already has the dev trait. What? I guess XP? We had the number one defense in terms of yards, and we added Cameron Dantzler, so I don't really like Hayden Callaway's chances. But we'll see. They beat us last time, so I don't want to jump the gun. Desmond King, CB1. We can check Holman real quick. He is an X Factor. Cool. And then we can finally start. He's already there. Perfect. And then Mr. Holman, I would think he's played enough snaps, probably. Did I do the Saquon trade? Yes, he is on your team. Oh, he's not gotten it yet. Oh, he's going to get it probably after this week. All right, let's get it rolling. Since it's Simcast, we won't spend time with jerseys, so we don't get to wear our all white. To be fair, we were all white last stream and we lost, so maybe it's not some awesome good luck charm. Your roster exceed. God damn it. Lenny, can you please cut 2 people real quick? Anthony Richardson's the worst player on the team. 2 of the quarterbacks. Yes, you have 4. So would you like to cut Tyler Van Dyke? Why can't they put the E? I don't see how that's inappropriate. And then Anthony Richardson. This is one of the QB rooms of all time. They also have the big boy KJ Jefferson. And none of them start because Hayden Callaway is kind of good. Cut Tyler and Anthony. All right. Poor Anthony Richardson. Dyke with a different letter at the beginning is a Jewish slur. Yes. I didn't even know it was a slur to LGBTQ people, so I guess maybe we should be careful. I mean, that is his name, though. So, but yeah, let's not throw around the word if we don't need to, gentlemen. All right, so that'll bring us into Week 14, the Steelers and the Bengals, our first Simcast game today. Now, it seemed like for most of the year, the AFC North would be a runaway for the Bengals, but if we lose this game, it's not so easy. The Steelers have won like 6 in a row, and if they win this game here, not only will they be only 1 game behind us, but they will also have the head-to-head tiebreaker, which is a really big deal. If we win this division, we'll be up by 3. The division race will be basically over, but if the Steelers win, then it's completely wide open. So this is pretty important. Go team. And it's Lenny's first game as the coach with the Steelers. Okay, we're on the board. Okay. I switched the playbook back to Tampa Bay because I knew we weren't being watched. Good. It looks like a long run. Josh Jacobs is him. Okay. Okay. Close at halftime. We had the slight edge. Good. All right, we can go a little bit slower, but we're in a pretty good spot. If we score here again, we'll be in a great spot. Excellent. Turnover. Okay, this game's pretty much over. Thank God. Okay, they scored quick, but no, Josh Jacobs is too good. Alrighty, so the Bengals will take it 33-20. Cincinnati now leads the division by 3 games. So barring something crazy, the Bengals should win the division, unless we absolutely fall flat on our face. We really needed to win this game today, especially not only because of the division race, but we have some more really hard games today. We have the Explorers in Week 16. We have Seattle next week. Looks like Lenny needed Budda Baker. I don't know if Budda Baker gives them a 13-point swing, though. Hayden Callaway and Matt Corral were both solid. I think Josh Jacobs is the guy who did really well. Yeah, why did he get the ball 15 times, though? Give him the ball more, please. As he ups his yards per carry on the year, somehow. Chidobe Awuzie at strong safety with an interception. I love it. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the games for Week 14. Seattle has a bye week, and someone else has a bye week. I forget who. And then after that, there's no more bye weeks. I'm not going to simcast the Explorers game because, well, it tied this game, but then it lost the tiebreaker. I wanted Cheeto, but Octi holds his players hostage. Well, clearly Chidobe Awuzie is playing. Like I told you, he recorded an interception. He has a role on my team. Anyone else know Jim Brown averaged 15 yards a carry in high school? That does not surprise me. You guys should look up Derrick Henry's high school stats. They are ridiculous. I'm curious about this Texans-Titans game. It goes to the Titans. Ooh, okay. So they split the season series. I think they're tied again. So unlike the AFC North, the AFC South division race just got a lot more interesting. Both quarterbacks were unbelievable. Lamar's been unbelievable all year. But Justin Herbert, though, really had his best game. King Henry was good. Sean Tucker, not so good in his game back. Zach Lawler was really good, though. Not too often do you have an Offensive Player of the Year candidate as a rookie, but Zach Lawler is that guy. The Titans obviously won. The Vikings in Saquon Barkley's debut lose to the Cougars. Did anybody score in the second half? Nope. No scoring in the second half. Steven Universe and C.J. Stroud were both pretty good. Joe Mixon continues to play well since the trade. He nearly got traded again, but he ends up staying in Chicago after all. We won the Bills. Whoa, okay, that's a lot. 41-10. The Bills hammer the Oilers. Trevor Lawrence played quite well. Isaiah Thomas did not. Were the Bills the 1 seed? If they were, then they still are, because they won. 3 sacks for Bradley Chubb. I guess the Oilers need some bright spot. The Broncos country, let's cry. They lose the Tank Bowl, but in reality, they won the Tank Bowl because they lost the game. Trey Lance, 66.6 passer rating. Is he the devil? He's the devil to his own team, although it seems like he wants the Broncos to draft Daniel Godley. Does Denver play Indianapolis at some point this year? Wait, didn't they play each other already? Yeah, that's the Broncos' 1 win. So if the Broncos beat the Colts, I think the draft tiebreaker would be the team who lost gets the number 1 pick. So I think right now the Colts would have won. If the Colts win another game, then it would go to Denver. They play a pretty hard-ish schedule the rest of the way. Speaking of the Colts, they were the other team with a bye week. Okay, who did the Colts play in the year? Chargers, Titans, Oilers, Niners. This is not as hard. The Chargers are not good. The Niners are not good. The Oilers are not great either. So this is an easier schedule than what Denver has. The Commies handle the Snowhawks 34-13. Nobody wants to in the AFC West still. If I got the number 1 pick, yes, I would let you make the pick. I don't think Carolina has a shot, though, but in that scenario, I would let you make the pick. That's what I did with Phil Chippendale a few years ago. Even though I didn't make the class, I think I still had access to it because I did scouting, and I traded up for the number 1 pick, and I still let myself draft Phil. So I would let you pick Daniel Godley or somebody else if you really wanted to. The Cowboys beat the Raiders 33-31 because the AFC West is garbage. Did Dallas have a game-winning safety? They scored 5 points in the fourth quarter, and they won by 2. So Dallas had a game-winning safety. Hugo Fredrickson was better than Joe Burrow. DJ Moore played very well. I got to see who had the safety, though, to literally win them the game. It might have been TJ Watt. He had 2.5 sacks. 2 interceptions for Gonzo. Greg Newsome with 1. And then the safety. What? Wait. Where's the safety? Wait. I'm so confused. How else can they get 2 points other than a 2-point conversion? Would it have been like a block of some sort? Not a block punt. What about a block kick? Nope. How else can they score 2 points other than a 2-point conversion, which wouldn't work because they didn't score a touchdown? Any special team scores? Nope. I'm so confused. Pick 6 on a 2-point conversion. Well, the Raiders couldn't have done that either because they only scored 3 points too. What the heck? Yeah, no 2-point conversions. Okay, I don't have an explanation for that, but whatever. If it's not a safety or a 2-point conversion or some other play, I have no idea how that could have happened. The Desperados beat the Eagles with a big comeback in the fourth quarter. Mexico, what happened? Jacoby Brissett, what happened? Zeke played well, though. This helps out my pick, even though it's not going to be number 1. Intentional grounding in the end zone. Oh, he could have pulled like a Jimmy Garoppolo. Hugo could have ran in the back of the end zone. Like Dan Orlovsky and Jimmy G. It all makes sense now. The Dreadnoughts beat the Jets 31-14. Jalen Hurts played pretty well. Drake May was fine. Any realistic shot the Jets had of making the playoffs is probably toast. I mean, it's one bad game. Yes, but if I can dance on your grave, I'm going to do it. The Eagles beat the Nighthawks 35-21. Bryce Young was good. Deshaun Watson was not. CMC was good. This is actually a really big win for the Eagles because it really helps them in the wild card race. I think both teams were 7-5, and not only are the Eagles a game ahead now, but they also have the tiebreaker, which could be very important. The Explorers beat the Monarchs, so the Explorers appear to be in the driver's seat within the division. They end up winning in overtime. Bo Nix was better than Travis Flight for sure, though. The Niners they had a bye week too. So that means 4 teams had a bye week. Okay. The Lions were the other team. Okay. Can I have some good news about the Rams, please? I guess we'll start with this. This is also good news. The Orbits beat New England. This could help for seeding, possibly, if the Patriots win the division. If not, then it doesn't really matter. This is definitely good news for Buffalo, though, because the Bills now have sole possession of first place, and it certainly helps the Orbits in any case if they want to get a wild card spot. So this is a very big win for them. Panthers beat the Rams. Thank you, Boomy. I appreciate it. Bailey Gabriel and Dak Prescott were pretty equal. And I think that just about covers everyone. We did them. Did we do the Ravens? I don't think we did the Ravens. They lost to the tanking Steamers, 23-20. Tua was good. Justin Fields was horrific. Trash versus garbage, and trash ends up prevailing. Seattle was the other team with a bye week. Snowhawks lost. Steamers won. That brings us back to the Steelers. Players of the week. We've got Zeke. Again, didn't he win one last stream too? Yep. He's joined by Lamar Jackson, Jordan Fuller, and Christian Gonzalez. As for standings, we have to have some teams who have clinched playoff spots. Especially in the AFC, we have to. Only one. Just the Bills. So congrats to Buffalo. They are officially in the playoffs and just them. Big win for the Bengals in the North. We can win the division with a win and Steelers loss this week. Even if it doesn't happen this week, we still have 4 other weeks to do it. Texans and Titans are now tied. I think they split, so they had the equal tiebreaker. I think next would be the division record, which the edge belongs to the Texans currently. If the Titans lose one of their final 2 division games, then the Texans will get the tiebreaker over Tennessee. Buffalo. They have a full game over New England now. The Snowhawks lead the West. This division stinks. The Explorers can clinch the division with a win and a couple teams losing this week. San Antonio can clinch the division with a win outright or a Mexico City loss. Dallas and Washington are still tied. Eagles are still 1 back. And then Seattle can clinch the division with a win or an OKC loss. As for the current playoff picture, do we have some changes? In the AFC, not really. I think the Snowhawks might have passed the Raiders. And the Titans maybe jumped New England. But other than that, not too much different in the AFC. The NFC, I would guess there's more movement. Interestingly, the Steelers are still 7, though. There's a lot of teams knocking on the door, though. The Orbits. That might be about it. The Orbits, maybe the Oilers. I guess the Raiders. And then in the NFC, we do have a lot of movement with the wild card teams. I think the division winners all stay intact, though. Have I seen your schedule? I guess we will because it's here. Oh, God. Pats and Bills. That is rough. So Week 15 is our second Simcast game. We've got the Lions and the Eagles. Siri, give me a number between 419 and 420.
It is 419.
Lame. I think the Lions are the road team. So this game is very important for the NFC wildcard. I think the Lions are currently a game back, whereas the Eagles are like 6. Yeah, the Lions are 7 and 6. The Eagles are 8 and 5. Why don't we take a look at who's on the outside in the wildcard races real quick? So with the NFC, they had the Nighthawks at 7. They are tied with the Golden Eagles, Lions, and Monarchs. And then a game behind them is the Panthers. I don't think anybody else has a real shot. In the AFC, the Steelers are 7. The Orbits and the Raiders are marching on the doorstep. Steamers and Oilers are 2 back. And this is also a Simcast, by the way. If the Lions win this game, then the wild card race in the NFC really shakes up. If the Eagles win, then they can put themselves in a good spot at 9 and 5. They'd still have some work to do, but they would position themselves nicely to get a playoff spot here as long as they win probably one more game the rest of the way. So this is a really important game for both teams, but Detroit in particular. Eagles with a score. They lead at 7-zip. Lions respond, and they respond again, and they respond again. 21-13. Okay, the Lions had the edge. Oh, Detroit's looking good. All right, we'll go a little slower. The Eagles score a touchdown, and they go for 1. So it's an 8-point game. Oh, turnover. Punt. If the Eagles get the ball back, we can hop in, assuming it's a one-score game. They might not get the ball back, though. 4th and 7. Blocked! Jake Moody's kick is blocked. We're going to hop in. So the Eagles trail by 8 with under a minute to go and no timeouts, but they have really good field position. Boink, boink. Incomplete. The Eagles need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie. Anything less is not enough. Good throw up the middle, but it's broken up. Amon-Ra St. Brown unable to hold on, and it's a 3rd and 10. They'll get the first down, but they've got to move quick. What white receiver do they have? Somebody hurt? He'll go short for McCaffrey. He's got to get out of bounds. And he does. Do we watch the entire Super Bowl? What's a Super Bowl? I don't know what that is. We watch the entire OFL Bowl, yes. Their best bet might just be to go deep. Because otherwise they're going to throw something short. He's going to go to McCaffrey, and they're going to... Oh, no! Defensive pass interference! They'll get it at, somewhere inside the 10. If I'm the Eagles, I'm rooting, honestly, for the Eagles. Because, yeah, the Eagles are ahead of them, but I feel like the Eagles have a better shot to get, the 7th seed if Detroit loses. First and goal. Amon-Ra's not in. They've got to move. Can they get another play in? I think they will. Yep, this is it. Bryce Young had A.J. Brown wide open in the flats. He decides to go to double coverage instead in the back of the end zone, and it's incomplete. And so the Lions get the win over the Eagles 28-20. He had A.J. wide open. That was a stupid decision for Bryce Young. Good win for Detroit. Very good performance by Caleb Williams, who has struggled as of recent, so this is really big for him. As for Bryce Young, he was fine. He made some questionable throws on that last drive, particularly the last one. So I would say if you're Dallas, if you're Washington, you should be very happy about this. Not just because of the division, but I think it helps them both in the wild card. If you're Mexico, if you're OKC, if you're the other 7-win team who I'm forgetting, the Monarchs, I think, then you're probably not so happy with this result. And with that, it is sim time again. Week 15, 4 weeks left to go. The Monarchs, they kind of have to win, and they do over the Cougars, 38-36. Big win for London. Both QBs played quite well. Bo Nix now is the QB of the future tab. I highly doubt he had that before. Could be wrong. The Nighthawks lose again. Why is Memphis winning? Right when I trade the OKC pick, they start losing. The timing of that could not have gone any worse. I had more faith in OKC than the Eagles. That's why I kept the that's why I kept the Eagles pick. And I think I was wrong. Although I guess Bryce Young selling is kind of helpful for me now that I think about it. Could Memphis get that playoff spot after selling? It's actually kind of possible. The Oilers lose to the Eagles by a lot, 35-14. Good win for Mexico. Any chance the Oilers had of making the playoffs is now probably down the toilet. You did end up getting the OKC pick at literally the perfect moment, in time for their collapse. So Seattle officially wins the West, by the way. So congrats to Todd on clinching another division. The Orbits lose to the Panthers. Wow. Steelers are very happy about this. And the Steamers now kind of had the door wide open for them to grab that playoff spot. Especially if Pittsburgh loses. If Pittsburgh wins, maybe not. But I know Pittsburgh plays somebody good. They play New England. So I guess we'll find out in just a second. Carolina won, obviously. They have now won 6 in a row. They're 500. The Panthers could absolutely put themselves in the wild card race. The Steelers' win streak is over. They lose to the Patriots. So Memphis, now they have a very realistic chance. They're only one back. And if we win, this means we officially clinch the division as well. Although we play Seattle. So I feel like we don't match up all that well with Seattle. I don't love my chances. The Raiders beat the Texans. Okay. This definitely helps the Raiders out, not just in the division race, but also in the wild card race, too. now that the AFC West, which is horrible, could actually get 2 teams in. I've always felt like the Raiders kind of seem like the team to beat in this division. I just don't trust Portland. Rams, please lose, please lose, please lose. No! So the Vikings lose to the Rams. So the Rams are not getting one. The dream is dead. Daniel Godley will not become a Cincinnati Bengal. I hate it here. Can I change my scheme? Not until the end of the stream. No. The Ravens lose again to the Explorers. So the Explorers don't quite clinch their division yet because the Monarchs and the Lions both won. But if the Explorers win next week against us, then they will clinch the division. Can I make Willis my starter? That you can do. Because that's not a scheme. I can do that after we go through all the games. Seattle. Okay, well, we scored 42. I'm not all that surprised. 600 yards! Oh, my Lord! That's a lot of yards. We out-sacked them. Corral was pretty good, minus a couple turnovers. Josh Jacobs, holy hell. How did we lose? Oh, my Lord! This might be the best offensive performance I've ever seen in my entire life. If this is not putting the team on your back, I don't know what is. So Josh Jacobs had 19 touches for 363 yards and 6 scrimmage touchdowns. I was told the other day he's not in the MVP race. Whoever said that, you're wrong. This is unreal. How did we lose? I don't get it. I feel like based on that box score, we should have won by 20. Jeez, Josh Jacobs put the team on his back and we still lost. I don't think Josh Jacobs automatically becomes the MVP after that, but that literally might be the best skill position performance I have ever seen. That probably is like a scrimmage yards record, I would think. The all-time rushing record is a little under 300. I think the receiving record is like 350. So that probably is the most scrimmage yards in a game. It's also probably the most scrimmage touchdowns. I think it's tied. I'm going to try to calculate how many fantasy points that is real quick, as the Raiders are now a game ahead of the Snowhawks, and the Titans are now in first place of the division. But let me go back to Josh Jacobs real quick. This literally might be like an 80-point game. So that's 20, plus 4 touchdowns. That's 44 points on the ground, plus 5 catches if you do PPR. That's 49, plus 16.5. That would be 49 plus 16.5. That's 63.5. Plus the 2 touchdowns, that's 12. That's 75.5 points. 75.5. My God. Okay then. The Bills beat the Jets 38-0 in other news. Like Parsons, 3 sacks, 2 for Von Miller. Yeah, now the Jets are definitely dead. The Broncos lose to the Cowboys. Denver continues to lose, as they should. How did London do? You guys won against somebody. I forget, but you won. Nick Chubb trying to do his best Josh Jacobs impression with this stat line. Not quite as good. Is Josh Jacobs averaging 8 yards a carry now? I think he is. That's incredible. I might take back what I said. Maybe he is the MVP. Ooh, the Colts won. So Denver now is positioned to get the number 1 pick. Did you say win this week? Yes, you guys did win, and you are now in sole control of first place in the West. Man, Victor Roberts wants to keep his job. There's probably other quarterbacks in this class, though, I would think. Apple's really going to get Eddie Small and Daniel Godley within a 2-year period. What a guy. Good for him. The Commies beat the Niners 27-20. I mean, San Francisco could still get that pick. They also only have 2 wins. The Cougars. lost. We saw that. Dallas, we saw. The Desperados killed the Dreadnoughts, so the Desperados have officially won the South. So the Desperados have clinched their division. The Seahawks have clinched their division. And I think that's it. Yeah, we didn't clinch because we lost. Because 52 guys forgot how to play football. The Eagles, we obviously saw them. They lost. The Explorers beat the Ravens. We did see this. Did we? I don't remember seeing this. Well, I'll go through it again. I don't remember. We should have, because we would have passed the Ravens, but... Niners we saw. Eagles we saw. They beat the Oilers. Jets we saw. That brings us back to Detroit. Did I call the Dreadnoughts the Desperados? You know what I mean. The Desperados clinched their division. Players of the Week. I wonder who it's going to be for AFC offense. Caleb Williams, Victor Boswell, Michael Parsons, and Timothy Jacobs. Is he in the MVP race now? 7th. How isn't he only one spot behind Nick Chubb? Do we need to do the comparison again? Nick Chubb's having himself a year. He's been great in the passing game, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, but that's not even close to this. He's going to break the rushing title in 17 games. He won't even need the 18th game to break the rushing title. All right, that'll bring us to Week 16. We've got our first full watch game of the day between the Nighthawks and the Seahawks. Siri, give me a number between 386 and 387.
It is 387.
387. That is Seattle. For watch, move Tony in the slot, and I also move, what was the other thing? Malik Willis. That was the other thing. Show playoff picture. I forgot to do that. Good call. All right, so let's see the updated playoff picture. Do we have any changes? The Raiders are back in first. The Titans jumped from 5 to 2. Texans go down to 6. We go down to 3. The Monarchs are now the 7th seed in the NFC. And that's about it. I messed up your depth chart. How did I do that? Is there something you need me to switch? I didn't mess it up, by the way. The game would have. Blame EA. Is there something you'd like me to change real quick before we pick jerseys? SG wants to start backups. I would appreciate that. Now that I don't need the Steelers to lose, I agree. DK wasn't in the slot. Here, I'll put him in second, and then I can change it back. Before we send. All right, there we go. I don't think Todd is here. I mean, I guess since Lenny is kind of still on the Seahawks, even though he's not the coach, but he does still have his player, I guess maybe he can pick the jerseys if he wants. Is Turkey still your wide receiver 3 in your slot guy? I think he was your wide receiver 2 originally because Hollywood Brown is hurt, but I think Hollywood's healthy now, so that he should be your 3 now, yeah. Do the throwbacks. These throwbacks are like newer. I would assume you mean the 90s. All purple. Good, because the white on purple with the orange helmet looks ugly. That looks a little better. The helmet looks like he should be like a construction worker. Alrighty, on to Week 16. We've got 3 more weeks left in the OFL season, and we will start with the Nighthawks and the Seahawks, 2 NFC West rivals. This game does not matter for division implications, as Seattle has clinched the division last week, despite Josh Jacobs doing his best to make sure they lost Although even if they would have lost, they still would have clinched the division anyway. But both of these teams still have a lot to play for. Seattle's gunning for the number 1 seed, which I believe they currently have, although the really important game for that is next week, which we will watch as well against the Dreadnoughts. So that's this really important game, but winning today would not hurt. As for OKC, they are on the outside looking in the playoffs, but if they win and a few teams lose, they could get that 7th spot back. So this game is especially important for them, and it is important for Seattle as well. But OKC in particular needs to win, or else their playoff chances are low. Maybe not dead, but low. Besides the Vikings, I've won against every team below 500. What? How is that possible? There's probably like 14 teams below 500. So when is John Johnson getting a coaching job? I didn't even know he wanted one. Well, I mean, there's not any team we're looking to open up right now since we just had the big switch yesterday. We'll see if that changes in the future, but... Yeah, everybody who's in the NFC wildcard race, you should definitely be rooting for Seattle. The Dreadnoughts should be rooting for OKC. And if you like chaos, I feel like OKC winning would help chaos. Probably. Oh, the Todd coaching tree is what he's referring to, because every Todd user player becomes a coach. Third and 6, incomplete. Quick stop. What is the Todd coaching tree? So let me explain. So Todd's drafted quite a few user players this year, and they've all pretty much become coaches. That starts with Frank Jones, the defensive lineman, who was the coach of the Nighthawks, who we're seeing today. And then he drafted offensive tackle Leonard Icker, Lenny, who is now the coach of the Steelers. So Todd's players have become coaches. So it's not necessarily a coaching tree in the sense of like coordinators and like proteges and stuff, but it's the closest thing to what we have to a coaching tree, so I would count it. Or Iker. Yeah, that's what I meant. Iker. Silly me. I guess he would be a part of the SGYT coaching tree. That's kind of true, yeah. Apple, in a sense, is part of the me coaching tree, although he was a coach before. So it doesn't really count. Actually, Apple would really be part of the Kevin coaching tree because his player's on the Chargers right now. Oh, well. Just to double check, I 100% lost my division. Yes, because you had 3 wins and the Raiders have 7, so it's officially over for the Chargers. It's Mahover. I don't think I'm a part of the coaching tree. You're part of the me coaching tree because you were on my team last year. Even though you became a coach before that, I'm still taking credit. Would we call Colin a part of my tree? No, because he's not a coach now, but he was before. So I would say no. But I would count Dan for you. John was traded to the Seahawks when he escaped his oppressors in Mexico. Does my player leave once I turn into a coach? You would not have control of your player, but he would still exist. So Lenny's player and Frank's player, for example, even though those two are now coaches, both of their players are still on the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, Lenny's player's on the field right now at one of the tackle spots, I think. But they no longer can control their players. What a catch. At that 22 for, I think, Tyler Lockett. Yep. If I win one more game, I would have my best season. Is this not already your best season ever? I would have thought it would have been by now. Mahomes is in the zone already as Deebo Samuel brings it to the 3. Flying start here for Seattle. It looks like they want that number 1 seed. And with how deep the NFC wildcard race is, I don't blame them. I would want it too. Before I went 4-30. That'll never not be impressive. Second and goal. Nope, not quite. Eric Hall brings it to the half-yard line. They should just QB sneak it. If they toss it to the outside, I swear. Oh, my Lord. That was so predictable, too. That was so predictable. Common EA disaster class, and Seattle's going to be forced to kick a field goal. Can't say I didn't see it coming. So the Seahawks lead 3-0. I feel like I've seen that play a million times. Me and you both. And so now we'll get another look at the Nighthawks offense. Of course, led by well-known woman respecter Deshaun Watson. Dan is better than Godley on God. Well, I haven't seen how good Godley is, but if he is as good as Boomy has said, then he's probably better than Dan. And Cocky Buttcannon, or what was the guy's name last year? It was not Cocky Buttcannon. It was something else. The dude that the Explorers, or not the Explorers, the Aviators drafted. Remember the Aviators? They drafted like that 28-year-old, 92 overall quarterback. Dickie Cocklauncher, that was his name, yes. He was a 92 when he got drafted, but he was 28 years old and he needed normal dev. What a guy. Dickie Cocklauncher. Dan won an MVP. I'm saying as like a prospect, if Godley is as good as Boomy says he is, then he's a better prospect. That doesn't mean he'll be the better player. What are those linebackers doing? No wonder they got the first down. They were just standing there. Average Jamal Adams in coverage moment. Kevin Shasha, better than the 25th best quarterback in the OFL. That's quite the bar. Grover Stewart with the sack. Grover Stewart sacks, Grover Stewart sacks Groper Stewart. How perfect. It would have been funnier if I got it right the first time. I'm on the Hector is better than Train. Who is Train? And so that'll wrap up the first quarter. 3-0, Seattle with the lead. The Hawks are beating the Hawks. Third and 9, Watson on the run, launches it downfield. It is caught at the 15. Who's 85? Is that Chigo Okonkwo? That looked like his name. Smirnov is the beach quarterback. I assume you mean the best quarterback to never win a ring. I think you can cross off the to never win a ring part and you would be accurate. Although the never winning a ring part is true, but you don't even need to include that. Dan won an MVP, will never top that. Hector won an MVP himself. I just say, how's that for a massage when I sack Watson? I'm stealing that. Next time we play the Browns in like a Madden video, or I guess today, here, I guess this works, I'm 100% stealing that. Second and goal. Oh, not quite. Monty brings it to the 1. They're probably going to try to punch it in with him again. If they toss it to the right side, I might throw my controller in. Okay, it's not a toss. They didn't get it, though. But at least they know that at the 5, now they can go for it. Don't kick. Don't be wusses. Don't chicken out. Oh, my Lord, they're chickening out. Grow a pair of balls. They have it at the 1-yard line. That's weak. You're fighting for a playoff spot against arguably the best team in the league on the road. Grow a pair of balls and punch it in. Joe Mixon would have scored there. Monty's power ratings should be good, though. He's a power back. But Mixon probably does score there. Common EAL. It should be 7-7. I mean, at least it's still tied. Even though, like, both teams got screwed, so it evens out. How am I winning? I don't know. There isn't much logic to the EA sim engine, so I can't really help you out. Luke Kendrick is on the list if I lose. Wasn't it your own fault because you didn't have the correct draft picks? It's not his fault you didn't have the correct second-round pick. He had no reason not to trust you with your offer. Who are the 5 best OFL quarterbacks ever? I can barely remember, like, past OFL 21. I mean, I guess if you consider what he's done in every OFL, Lamar Jackson is by far the best. Because he is, like, how many rings? 2. That's 5. I think he is 5. And he's been in... his teams are always good. Every year. So Lamar is, like, the OFL GOAT, and I don't think it's close. If you count, like, individual seasons, Alexei Smirnov is in there. Russell Wilson last year is in there. Dan is in there. I would still wait and see with this year, but I would say Lamar has been the best quarterback overall this year. Hector, I don't think, is there. Chip, I don't think Chip is quite in the top 5, as much as I love Chip. Chip did win a championship, and he made 2, but he was never, like, elite. And I don't know if I'd throw Hector in there either. I mean, Hector's MVP season was really good, but I don't think I would put him all-time above Dan or Smirnov or Russ. Madden Sim, Meat Rides, Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals, Bucks. I love how you chose 4 good teams. I get the Bucks aren't good in real life now, but, like... Wait, was that intercepted? I wasn't even looking. No, he did catch it. Never mind. But, yeah, obviously Madden's going to meat ride the good teams, I would hope. I mean, football itself doesn't really have much logic week to week, so it does make some sense. My Lord, what a catch. Down at the 7. By Amari Cooper, the best receiver in the league this year. Dan threw for 600. That game was fun. And that was against Lamar, too. Lamar was also really good in that game. Every single year, in OFL 19, Lamar won 2 reigns with the Rams. In OFL 20, he won 3 reigns with my team, the Niners. I don't even remember where he was in OFL 21. I would have to think about it. Last year he was with Dublin. Dublin made the AFC Championship at least twice, maybe 3 times. They made the OFL Bowl once. And then this year with the Texans, they've made the AFC Championship in both years. And he's been an MVP candidate both years this year as Tyler Lockett scores the touchdown and the Seahawks will take the lead back. My process for making moves is always good. I will say, when I was looking through your roster trying to figure out stuff with the Cam Dantzler trade, I was surprised to see, like, how you don't have a hole. Like, every position is, like, there's a capable starter there. Who was the Samrocks DM before the games? They started with Mr. Smirnov at the beginning of the year. Then he wasn't as active. Then the games took over. The Games had inherited a really good team. He tore it all the way down. He kept Lamar, although I almost traded for Lamar. And then he got them back to the AFC Championship. How's my depth chart looking like? It should be exactly how you set it up, I would think. Flag. That was a late flag. But it didn't look like a face mask animation. I think it's going to be a hold. Yeah. Didn't the Diablos... No, that would be... The Seahawks beat the Shamrocks in the first OFL Bowl, and the Seahawks beat The was it the Diablos in the second OFL Bowl? I think it was. Yes, yes. Both of those teams lost to Seattle. Nice play on 1st and 19. Kadarius Toney, I would assume. That looks like a Kadarius Toney type play, and it is. Yeah, the Diablos made a bowl last year. They lost to Seattle with the Keenan Allen catch. And in OFL 21, the Diablos went 1-1 with yours truly. Oh, roster. Oh, obviously the Bills roster is really good. Why else are you guys, what, 11-2? 12? No, 12. It would be 12-2. Reading is hard. That was a terrible throw. What was he trying to cook? Good God, that was awful. Grant Delpit, he looks terrible in number 53, first off. I know he's listed as a linebacker, but he looks wrong in 53. Kike Hernandez got traded to the Dodgers. You guys want to see this Kike Hernandez Dodgers Photoshop that I probably have somewhere? Dodger legend? You think I can make a good push if I have a good free agency? Honestly, yes. As I mentioned earlier, your defense is like all the way better. Every position's been upgraded. So, I mean, if Drake May takes a step, you add a few good pieces. Yeah, I could see it. And the AFC not being all that deep. Yeah, you have to worry about the Bills and the Patriots in the division, and the Orbits are no slouch either. They're, I would say, a top 8 team in the AFC. Good throw. Is he in bounds? I did not think he was in bounds. Now, I didn't get a good angle. Tyler Lockett just happens to be him. The most underrated player in the league in real life. Did he drag the feet in? No, not even close. He's 100% not in bounds. What are we doing? Okay, good. How do I get good? By getting good players? I don't know. Tyler Lockett is a poor man's Greg Dortch. Congrats. So they should reverse this. What if it stands? They'll reverse it. Yeah, that's the right call. He was not in bounds. We should do an MLB trade deadline stream next week. What do I have for the schedule again? Because I posted the whole schedule a few days ago. Nice sack. Deshaun Watson knows a thing or two about that. Which day is the deadline? Monday? Now that I think about it, I don't think I have a stream scheduled for Monday. Actually, no, I think I do. I think we're doing every other day going forward. Yeah, week 18 would be Thursday. Yeah, every other day. So that would be Monday. So I might as well time it up with the trade deadline. Oh, it's on Tuesday? I thought it'd be on Monday because today's the 25th. Yeah. Yeah, it's on August 1st now, isn't it? Didn't they change it to August 1st? That's so lame, first of all. July 31st is like cooler because it's the end of the month. I feel like that makes more sense. Oh, well, in that case, I don't have one scheduled for Tuesday. Yeah, August 1st. That's so lame. Why'd they change it? When is Titans franchise? Today. I don't know what time, but it is today. Bro said, don't trade for Kyler. He sucks in watch. He also sucks in sim. He's not good. We should do the stream on Tuesday. I mean, we'll see. I scheduled the whole thing around my trip. I suppose it is possible, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get closer. He would be down by 20 with Kyler. I don't know about that. They've only allowed 13. That's going to be a late hit. Automatic 15, along with the first down already. What did the D-backs trade for Otani? It's not happening, buddy. It's not happening. Give it up. Am I gonna upload during your trip? Yes, I'm gonna record ahead. That's what I usually do. It's usually a stressful few days beforehand, but I'm a big boy. If I had all 99 overall players, I think my team may squeak in at 10-7. Mac Jones already plays like a 99, so you got that. They should probably call that timeout, yes. So I guess they're going for a Hail Mary now. That's probably the right call. Or not. That was a good drop by Mark Andrews, and now they're going to kick. If he doesn't make the kick, Seattle's going to have enough time to run a player. That's not even close. That's disgusting. Okay, 5 seconds. I don't think they have time to run 2 plays. I think it's Hail Mary or bust. Fellow Florida man. Denmark being a Florida man after all this should not surprise me. Oh, they're not even going for the Hail Mary. That's so lame. They should. Good. Good. I was going to say, that'd be so lame. At least try. Final play of the half. Mahomes does not get it there, and it doesn't matter because it's incomplete. And that'll wrap up the first half. Seattle with the edge, 13-3. Can they hold on and beat the Nighthawks to continue to try to push for the #1 seed? You should do a 32-user league. Here's the problem with that. There's this cool thing called time that I wish I could say I was made of, but I unfortunately am not. Tim Robinson throw. You'd think of all people, Mahomes is going to get it there. Although, I mean, he obviously went short on purpose. That just happened to be a stupid decision. Why would you go short? You have no reason not to go for the end zone. Octi's made of money. I also wish I could say I'm made of money. And I can also say that's not true. They're counting you out 7. Show something. 7 sexual assault cases, maybe. We already do a 32-user league. It's called OFL. I guess, yeah, you're kind of right. No! Lenny's hurt! He was probably holding his Steelers papers underneath his jersey. So offensive tackle Leonard Eicher is going to the locker room, grabbing his wrist. The diagnosis says he fractured his toe. Because, that's what Madden would do with a wrist injury. Third and 5. Mahomes will throw it away. Good defense. Big drive here for OKC. It's kind of now or never. Maybe I should. I mean, they're only down by 10. Maybe I shouldn't say now or never yet, but I mean, they got to show something soon. Wasn't Lenny's player black? No. His player was always white, as far as I'm aware. He was drafted white. I haven't changed it. As a 15-2 won a championship. I would think. I don't remember all these champions' exact records, but probably. Now that I think about it, in OFL 22, we had the weirdest teams win championships. Like the Giants in year 3, the Aviators in year 4, and then the Rams in year 5. None of those teams, as far as I remember, were supposed to win. Dallas this year, or I guess last year, would have won at least 13, maybe 14 games. I don't remember the exact number. Have we ever had a 9-8 OFL team all time? I would think. But yeah, Dallas had either 13 or 14 wins. I don't think they had 15. I think it was 14. Although I could be wrong. 3rd and 5. Watson throws it in the middle of nowhere. Yikes. Me last year, I think. I thought you guys won 10 games. It was either 9 or 10. It might have been 9. If the Hawks score a touchdown, it'd be a 3-score game, which would mean Simcast. Trayvon just signed a contract. Trayvon Duval, the basketball player? I'm kidding. I know Trayvon Diggs signed his extension. The OGs remember Trayvon Duval, though. He was tough. Last year, you could have won 7 and won the AFC West. That's probably true. Yeah, I remember. The Steelers lost to all the Chargers backups. That was hilarious. Now that I think about it, it's not that hilarious because then the Steelers were able to use their picks on Kelvin Pickney and Hayden Callaway, who might terrorize my division for the next few years. So never mind. That was only funny at the time. Now it's not funny. Seattle's inching closer. Can they get it here on 3rd and 2? Real ones remember Teontay Pierre. I think the funny part about that is I don't think you were here when Teontay Pierre existed. Do I go first round running back? I feel like it should just depend on which players on the board are good. I mean, I know nothing about the draft class, minus that Daniel Godley is probably him, unless Boomy's lying to us, which, if he is, that would be objectively hilarious. And now that I have really no shot to get Daniel Godley, I almost hope he is lying to us. I used to watch Teontay Pierre before I joined the server. Fair enough. Good throw. I think that is that Cooper or Lockett? That's Lockett. He gets to the 8. Would you rather guard Hector as a femboy or a toddler? I would clamp him up regardless, so it doesn't really matter. W gaslighting from Boomy. I hope he is lying. That would be gold. Lockett gets a rocket in your pocket, and the Nighthawks offense makes my eye sockets bleed out in the docket. Bang. Art. Hayden Hutchinson with another sack. If we play to 11, how many points do you think you're scoring? Either 11 or 12 in the case of my last shot being a 2, but otherwise 11. 3rd and goal from the 29. And he will throw it away. Brady Boatwell was lower. I think he was like a 63 or something. I don't remember the exact number, but I think he was lower than 69. It was low enough to where, like, this is a very questionable pick. Like, 69 X Factor, I'd be thrilled with that in the first round. But how many shots do you think it'd take to get to 11? It depends on how many 2s I make. But I'll say 8. Get some middies in there, maybe get a couple 2s. Yeah, by the end, Boatwell was not that bad of a player. Ironically enough. Which, I mean, I guess that's what happens when you have Superstar X Factor. You can develop easier. But he did have a very interesting road last year. He was on how many different teams? What is Watson trying to do? I get it was caught, but, like, what is my man's cooking? You think you're shooting damn near 100%? If there's not a shot clock, and it's 1-on-1, and I have all the space in the world, I'd be in no rush to shoot it. I'd just wait until I get a little bit of room, and boom. Hopefully I make the shot. If we played to 11, how much am I scoring? I'll give you like 5. Oh wait, no, you're a child. I'll knock it down to 3. Kevin's a grown man. He could probably get buckets on me, but I don't think you could. Yeah, if you posted me up, then that's probably your best bet. If you posted me up the whole game, then I think you'd have a chance. If we play to 11, how much am I scoring? Yeah, you might have the size advantage, but like you don't have the heart that I do. And you also probably can't shoot, so I'll give you like 2. How about me? Well, I don't know anything about your skill. I just know that you're basically the same size as me, so you can't really post up on me. And in that case, I'll say maybe you get 3. I can dunk on some rims. Yeah, I can dunk on when I move my rim down to 8 feet, too. Does that count? They call me the black Reggie Miller. Well, good thing they call me the white Tyler Hero. Low-key, if we call in fouls, I'm done, though. They call me the white Deshaun Watson. Alright, let's find the timeout button. Did Octi play high school basketball or something? Mans is confident. I did not. But I think compared to the average person, I'm quite good. I'm from Central Florida. We foul everybody we play. As Watson is intercepted again. He's bad. Who's 25? I don't think that's JC. JC has X Factor. I think that's Xavier Howard. Yes, it is. Xavier Howard with the pick. If me and Octi played ones, it'd probably be 11-10. Would it now? I don't know. I would imagine a hockey player would probably foul a lot. That's a very physical sport. Biggest bird, let's meet up. I love how you say that as if, like, if Kevin did that, wouldn't that be a crime? Because you're a child and he's a grown adult. Good play for Debo, by the way. Mahomes is sacked. Demario Davis. I mean, at least OKC's pass rush has been pretty good today, if nothing else. I guess, yeah, nothing else has really been good other than the pass rush, but they've got that. Got a weird feeling if Octi posted up. I'm not a post player. I'm a guard. Jerry Judy knows a thing or two about big birds. Oh, he sure does. If they meet up, as long as nothing sexual happens, you can meet a minor. Oh, I thought that was like a felony. Even if it's not like sexual, I thought that was still illegal. Melbourne, Australia. I'm kidding. Or am I? It's a 16-point game, so it's still 2 deficits, so we'll still watch. But if Seattle gets the ball back, then we might just simcast. There's 6 minutes left. We'll see what happens on this drive, and we'll reevaluate. But since it is still a 2-score game, we'll wait a little longer. How is it a 3-score game? If they score a touchdown and a 2 twice, then it'd be tied. That's a lot easier said than done, but it is mathematically possible. If you just met them to talk over a cup of coffee or play basketball or talk, okay, I would have thought that would be a crime, but I guess not. When am I getting guest station stimulator? I don't know. Is that free or does that cost money? I can't take him anywhere without his parents know. That would make sense, but I could teach him how to hoop. Okay. There you go. So I guess Kevin could technically physically do that. Is Karl Malone, like, on a list? On what list? He's on the all-time NBA leading scorers list. He's 3rd. My God, Deshaun Watson's bad. Let's sim. What a disaster. J.C. Jackson with the interception now. I like how 1 week ago you thought I had a wife. Very true. $26-3. Not a fun day for the Nighthawks. They get killed by Seattle. So the Seahawks continue to strengthen their position. I suppose they still could go as low as 4, but realistically, them and San Antonio, one of those 2 will probably be 1. The other probably will be 2. I'm going to be proposing to my girlfriend. Whoa, Rizzler. Rizzler Award. Riz King. If Danny beats me and I go 0-3, I'll check your schemes, yes. Oh, he threw another interception? I thought he only had 3. Did he throw another one in the Sim 2? That's hilarious. Yikes. A lot of TFLs, though. 3 sacks for Odafe 2 for Hutchinson. Delpit, Jackson, Howard. Yeah, Amos would have gotten the interception in the Sim. And all of them got decent returns, too. Have I ever played Monopoly on the PS4? No. I've played the board game, like the physical game. Texans legend Grant Delpit. Alrighty, I'll switch DK back into the slot, unless Frank wants otherwise, but I would assume he would want that. The Nighthawks are what, 0-3 today? Man, I really did make a mistake trading that pick. What was I cooking? Bench Watson for Baker Mayfield. Sure. 5-1 is crazy. You're not giving me 3. You're giving me 0 points. Never mind. If I actually tried. If I didn't play defense, you could probably get 4 or 5. But if I tried on defense, you ain't getting any. I may or may not have saw the result of the Dreadnoughts game. Let's say this Week 17 game is going to be interesting. The Snowhawks beat the Raiders. Nobody wants to win this division. Who won the first game between these two? The Snowhawks. So they're tied at 7-8, I think. But Portland is the tiebreaker. So the Snowhawks now lead the division. If Portland makes the playoffs, I swear to God. Watch us be the 3 seed and we're stuck with Houston in the first round. Yet, New England or whoever, they get the luxury of playing the Snowhawks. What if Memphis wins again? Wow, they do! What is going on in Memphis? They are now, 7-8? Wow, sheesh. Who do they play their last 2 games of the year? This team is going to actually mess around and make a playoff spot. They play the Orbits and the Jets. Wow, this game is actually kind of important. And then the Jets, they should theoretically win. The Steelers lose to the Bills. The wheels are falling off the tracks for the Steelers, albeit they played against 3 really good teams, which is understandable. But I think the Steelers and the Steamers are now tied, along with the Raiders and the Snowhawks. This 7th seed race is crazy. Which team wants to get killed by the 2 seed in the first round? Unless we're the 2 seed, then they'll probably find a way to win. The Texans beat the Niners. That would have been a bad loss. They only won by 4, though. Lamar Jackson played well. Lamar Jackson played really well today, yet they're not winning. Sean Tucker, what's going on with him? He has not looked like himself. They have been struggling, I guess, because they haven't been running the ball well. The Titans beat the Colts. So Tennessee is still ahead of the Texans in the division. And the Colts are a little bit closer to Daniel Godley. If the Broncos win, then the Colts would be back in... Would they be back in first position? Maybe the Niners would. I don't know. Petition to watch Orbit Steamers. Well, here's the thing. The reason why I'm going to say no is because we will literally find out who gets the number 1 seed in the NFC. That game is huge. All right, Bengals, please. We're playing a pretty good team. I think we're better than them. Please win. Good. Good stuff. In overtime. 152 rushing yards. Why is this guy so good? Corral was, he was better than Travis Flight, though. I'll take it. Josh Jacobs, only 5.1 yards a carry. That might be his lowest total of the year. He still ran for 3 touchdowns and 108 yards, though. All right, good stuff. So the Bengals have officially clinched the division, although I guess we did that with the Steelers losing. So we would have won the division anyway. Broncos country, let's ride! Denver beats the Oilers. So the Broncos, the Colts, and the Niners all have 2 wins and are tied. And they all have their own picks. as far as I'm aware. Broncos country is riding high. Man, if the Rams had lost another game or two, then we would have a shot too. I hate it here. The Chargers won. So they have what? 3? 4? So the Chargers aren't getting godly, it looks like. Kevin Shasha played really well. Looks like he wants to keep his job. Who is Pepper Jack tanking for? Not godly because they have 5 wins. The Colts lost. The Commies beat the Jets in overtime, 44-38. Drake May and Mac Jones were both really good. The Texans are really going to get a top 5 pick. I hate it here. The Cougars lose to the Cowboys. So Dallas and Washington are continuing to tie each other. I think Dallas and Washington have won every game so far today. I could be wrong, but I think they're both 3-0. Didn't Nick say if he went 4-0 he would turn light mode on? Who does Dallas play next week then? Oh, I forgot they play Washington. Oh wait, no, Washington lost? Oh wait, they lost to the Jets? I thought they beat the Jets. I'm blind, I guess. So Dallas now leads the division. Who won the first time they played? Dallas did. So if Dallas beats the Commies, then Dallas clinches the division. Why did I think the Commies won? I'm slow. The Desperados beat New England. Does Buffalo clinch the division yet? They might have. Buffalo's close to clinching the number 1 seed. They're at least a game ahead of everybody, maybe 2. I know they're 2 ahead of us, and they beat us. So they'll finish above us. The Dreadnoughts, they beat the Panthers. So the Dreadnoughts and Seahawks game in Week 17 will literally determine the number 1 seed. The winner will win the top seed. No matter what. No matter what happens. So this game is pretty important. Muy importante. The Eagles beat the Orbits 42-24. Everybody's still within a game of each other in the NFC East. Octi. Yeah, that's me. What do you need, my good sir? Who did we use her? We used her not the Explorers, they lost. The Niners lost. The Geagles beat the Rams. Thank you, Hector. Not that this pick is going to be number 1, but thanks anyway. We don't take like pick 5. That's still better than nothing. The Jets won because I'm blind. The Lions lose to the Chargers. We saw that. The Monarchs lose to Baltimore. Pretty good week in Mexico. They win, while the Monarchs, Lions, and Nighthawks all lose. If the Ravens end up with Daniel Godley, I'm going to be sad. I think they had 3 wins. I think we covered everybody. How many wins does Baltimore have? No, we didn't. No, we did do the Raiders. They lost. How many wins does Baltimore have? 1, 2. Okay, and then that's 3. Players of the week: Alvin Kamara, Kevin Shasha, Nick Bolton, and Chris Barnes. All right, we'll take a look at the standings. I know everybody wants to see the bottom. I want to see the bottom too. So the Colts, Niners, and Broncos are tied. Yes, it looks like, I guess, the Colts had the edge. The Colts, they beat the Broncos, right? I keep forgetting who won that game. Yeah, the Colts had the edge over Denver. So, no, Denver would have beaten the Colts because the Colts had the edge over them. I don't think the Niners played either team, so I don't know exactly what they would get. The Ravens are the only other team with a slight shot of getting him. The Rams, which we had their pick. And then the Chargers, I don't even know who has the Chargers pick. Maybe the Chargers do. I don't know. And then after that, the Rados, the Jets, the Vikings, the Cougars, and the Oilers are also there. Everybody else is still gunning for a playoff spot. Bengals clinch the East. Steelers and Steamers are going for wild card. Titans are still a game ahead of the Texans, but both teams have now officially clinched. The Patriots have officially clinched the playoff spot, so the 5 really good teams in the AFC are now all officially in. And the Bills can clinch the division with a win. They can clinch the number 1 seed with a win and Titans loss. Snowhawks now lead the West. The Explorers have officially won the NFC North, even though they lost. These two lost too. So Columbus is going to the playoffs. The Dreadnoughts have clinched the South. They can clinch the number 1 seed with a win. The Cowboys are officially in the playoffs. The Commies and Eagles close behind. The Eagles are 2 back of Dallas. I thought it was 1, but they're 2. Seattle already clinched the West, and they can clinch the number 1 seed with a win as well. So we have 9 teams who have already clinched. The Commies are probably going to join. And then after that, it's pretty much fair game for the last 4 spots. That's the wrong button. I want playoff picture, not standings. So, as it stands now, the only change in the AFC is the Raiders are now 7. They are 7 and 8. They are tied with the Steelers and the Steamers. If we have 2 AFC West playoff teams, yet we have to play the Texans in the first round, I'm going to be salty. In the NFC, the Geagles have jumped all the way up to 6. They would play the Explorers. The Eagles dropped to 7. Interesting. Siri, give me a number between 2,212 and 2,213.
It is 2,213.
Okay, that's the home team, which is the Dreadnoughts. So you won't use your Seattle twice. The Desperados have 5 wins. They are 5 and 10. So the stakes of this game are pretty simple. If Seattle wins, they get the number 1 seed. If the Dreadnoughts win, they get the number 1 seed. It does not get more black and white than that. Winner gets 1. Loser pretty much gets 2. Neither of these teams have a lot to play for in Week 18. 2000s throwbacks and Navy. Do they have Navy pants? Yes, I assume this is what you want. All dark blues. Well, that's a problem because the Dreadnoughts only have blue and white. So that's kind of an issue, unless it's a different shade of blue. I assume you want that. I think those colors are too similar. These colors are way too similar. Easily a bottom coach. Preach. How am I a bottom coach? Probably because you had 4 different traits for Antoine Winfield and none of them passed. Is there 2010s? No. They have 2000. They had this. I mean, that's not really a throwback. Don't they have greens in here? Yeah, you can do green. I mean, the other colors are kind of similar, but you got the green jerseys. Can't really do anything about the helmets. Just do that. Alrighty. That is in green or that is in the 2017? If the Titans get the 1 seed but go 0-6 in HBA, I am going to laugh. Well, the Titans need the Bills to lose, and the Bills are really good. So. Also, why would you overreact over 6 games? That's a very small sample size in an 82-game season. May I change back to Ritter? Well, I'm already here. Remind me before we sim. Actually, I'm going to write it down. Still remind me anyway in case I forget. The green. Okay, perfect. All right, now we're ready to go. All right, the final week of the day, Week 17. The Dreadnoughts and the Seahawks on primetime football. The 2 best teams, not just in the NFC, but you could argue the best teams in the league. The Bills are also 13-2, along with these 2 teams. So I guess you could put the Bills in there. And if you want to just count talent, I guess us, Dallas, and Houston probably are also there as well. But in terms of standings, in terms of everything, you could very easily make the argument that these are the two best teams in the league. We could very well see them in the NFC Championship. They will probably both have home games until the NFC Championship. And if they were to make the Conference Championship, the question would be, who would get to be the home team? Well, we'll find out today. The winner is the 1 seed. The loser probably will be the 2 seed. We are frauds. I mean, you haven't played well today, but I don't know if I'd use the F word yet. The famous F word, frauds. I mean, I guess you gotta hope that you play against either Portland / Vegas in the first round or jump up to 2. That's what I'm hoping for. 2 teams in the AFC are going to get royally screwed. The F word, I'm calling it the F word from now on. I want you. Well, I don't want you. I want the easier team. Yeah, a challenge is fun, but I'm trying to win. Oh my. Well, this is a start. Aaron Jones is going to take it 75 yards to the house on the first play of the game. I think Aaron Jones wants that 1 seed. I don't know about you, but I think he wants that week off. Seattle's defense allowed 3 points the entire game against OKC, and they've allowed 7 points within the first 10 seconds. Aaron Jones is pretty good at this football thing. I don't know about you guys, but I think he's pretty good. We saw the Dreadnoughts and watched earlier this year. They beat the Bills, one of Buffalo's 2 losses. I'm now realizing the Bills still have not lost a sim game all year. That's insane. Did the Bills lose a sim game last year too? I think they did. Yeah, I think their one loss was in the sim last year. If the Bills end up going 15-2, that would mean over the last 2 regular seasons, they're 31-3. That's insane. Anyway, here's Seattle. Patrick Mahomes leading the way. Mahomes had a great game and watched last week against OKC. It's going to be a little bit more challenging. He's facing off against a better team today. Although, on paper, the defenses aren't that far apart. OKC has a good defense. The Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. What will be Aaron Jones' running back rank in fantasy? That's a good question, because Jones is, at least over the last 4 to 5 years, he's been pretty steady. You know what you're going to get? He has some big games here and there. They've had A.J. Dillon in that backfield for a while, and he hasn't really cut into Aaron Jones' role, so I think it's fair enough to say he won't cut into Aaron Jones' role this year, and especially with Jordan Love at QB, they're going to need to run the ball more. Jordan Love also might want to go short to the running back more in the passing game, and Aaron Jones is a fine receiving back, so probably somewhere in the top 10 amongst running backs, I would think, at the worst, unless he gets hurt or falls off a cliff. I'm really talking myself into Aaron Jones now. If I'm the Eagles, who do I root for? This game doesn't really affect you. Who would you rather play in the first round? Although I guess it doesn't really matter, because if the Eagles get the 7th seed, they would have to get by both of these teams. So I don't think it really matters. Laviska also had injuries, though. But yeah, I guess he wasn't very good for you guys. What's the James Conner fantasy outlook? The Cardinals have no other good running backs, unless you count Keontae Ingram. Whoop-de-doo. But I mean, James Conner is probably going to score a lot of touchdowns in short yardage situations. So you got a touchdown vulture, and he's going to be the main running back anyway. So he'll probably be pretty good. He probably won't finish as high as Aaron Jones, because Aaron Jones is just a better player, but James Conner is one of those guys who's usually going to finish higher in fantasy rankings than his actual talent suggests, because that's just the nature of his game, along with the fact that the Cardinals have no other good running backs. What's the Deontay Foreman fantasy outlook? Hold on, Deebo Samuel scores here. I wish I could say it was good, but I don't think it is, because Khalil Herbert's a dog, Roshan Johnson's a dog, Deontay's a dog too, and I feel like Deontay should have gotten to a team like the Cardinals, for example, who could have actually used him. Deontay might be the 3rd running back on the Bears' depth chart by the time we get to Week 8. The thing with him is, like, he's not universally, like, underrated. That's just a me thing. I'm, like, the only one who has a strong opinion on Deontay Foreman. Clearly no one in the league agrees with me, although I stand by my take on him. I think he's quite good. If you have pick 5, JJ, CMC, Chase, and Cup go in the top 4, who do you take? I would pick probably... I don't want to reveal, like, my strategies, but if I had to pick now, I would probably pick Bijan. And I probably wouldn't have to think about it too hard. Alexander Madison. He's a dog. He's going to put up numbers because he always did when Dalvin Cook got hurt. So, now that he gets to play the whole year, look out. Greg Dortch fantasy outlook. I think, again, I've said this multiple times, I think he's unironically pretty good, but the Cardinals added Zach Pascal. They added Michael Wilson in the draft. And Greg Dortch is the third best receiver on that team who's under 5'9". So, I don't see what his role is, along with the fact that he's not one of the new front office's guys. Like, Zach Pascal's a guy the new front office handpicked. Michael Wilson, they handpicked. Hollywood Brown and Rondale Moore are both quite talented. So I feel like Greg Dortch is kind of the odd man out. I honestly think they should trade him. He should find a new place to play where he can have a bigger role. Who's the highest scoring Lion? As much as I'd like to say Jahmyr Gibbs, it's probably Amon-Ra. I mean, he's got a good chance to finish as a top 5 receiver if all goes well, if Jared Goff continues to play well. I could see him finishing in the top 5. Obviously, the ceiling is high with Jahmyr Gibbs, but I just don't know exactly what his role looks like. I think we're going to use him a lot, and I think he's going to be really good, but I don't know exactly what his role is yet because of Montgomery being there, who is a good player. So I would be a lot more comfortable with saying that Amon-Ra is the highest scoring player that we have. I'd love it to be Sam Laporta, though. He's going to be a dog, too. Jonathan Gannon also... Did he actually say we should expect a big leap from Dortch? I mean, that's just coach talk, so it doesn't really matter, but... Gibbs is going to be nasty, but I can see the touchdowns being low. It could be kind of similar to the... Nice touchdown by Kyle Pitts, by the way. It could be a similar dynamic to Swift and Jamal Williams last year because Montgomery's the better short yardage guy. But on the flip side, our front office did not handpick DeAndre Swift. They did handpick Jahmyr Gibbs, and they used a very high draft pick on Gibbs. So clearly they really like him, but he's also not a short yardage guy, at least not to the extent that David Montgomery is. So I think the dynamic in the sense of like how they're used in the red zone could be similar to last year, but as long as Jahmyr Gibbs does not have DeAndre Swift's health, then I would expect him to be used a lot. DeAndre Swift is extremely overrated. I think you're extremely wrong. I get the point that like people who don't think Swift is good make, because at the end of last year, or really after the first few weeks, he wasn't all that good. He does not have good vision at all. He runs sideways way too often. He was not that good of a player, but the thing with him, I think, he was so good at the beginning of the year because he was healthy, and then he just breaks down too early into the season. And I think it's happened pretty much every year that we've had him. I think he's like a super talented player when healthy. The problem is he's never healthy. At the end of last year, I think he was playing injured, and I give him a lot of credit because he was a tough cookie, but it clearly affected his play. I hope he does well at the Eagles, especially because the other running back they have might be even more injury prone than he is. But if he stays healthy, I think he can be good for them. The problem is he doesn't stay healthy. But when he is healthy, he's a different player. Bro is a tough cookie. That's what I'm saying. I give him a lot of credit for playing banged up last year. It's just that he was like significantly worse. Like that first game against the Eagles, he looked unbelievable. I thought this was the year and we finally had a true game-changing running back. Tyler Lockett, by the way, has been unreal today. Ben Skoranek fantasy outlook. If they use him like Taysom Hill, then I guess it would be pretty good. I used to think, like, why is Ben Skoranek on this roster? What does he do? Why does he play? But now I kind of get it. Not that he's, like, all that special, but They have a defined role for him. It's unique. I guess he's probably a Sean McVay merchant. Nice touchdown again. Both of these offenses look quite good so far. There's Amari Cooper. I take it that both of these teams want the number one seed, or at least both offenses do, because this has been quite the game so far. Cocky butt cannon fantasy outlook. Where did we have him originally pegged into Wikipedia? I don't even remember which team. Would it have been us or would it have been someone else? I don't know, but Cocky's going to be him. Eno Benjamin season outlook. Is Eno Benjamin on a roster? Wasn't he with the Texans last year? So at best, if he is still on the Texans, he'd be RB3 at the very best. Even that might be a reach. So I can't say I like his chances a whole lot. Okay, we did peg him on the Lions. So let's say he bangs Jared Goff's wife. Goff gets sad. Goff performs poorly. Cocky comes in. He wins every game. We win the Super Bowl, and he puts up 400 yards and 5 touchdowns a game. He's on the Saints now. Well, the Saints have Alvin Kamara, who I don't think is going to get suspended at this point. They have Jamal Williams. They have Keandre Miller, who they drafted in the 3rd round. So that's 3. They might have somebody else who I'm not even thinking of. So I don't see how he plays. Stetson Bennett fantasy outlook. If they put him at slot receiver, pretty good. Or if Matthew Stafford gets hurt, which is also very possible, finally a stop. But speaking of tough cookies, Stafford is also a tough cookie. But he's also very injury prone. I think that's fair to say. Like, I think some people use injury prone a little loosely, but he legitimately is injury prone. And he legitimately is a tough cookie. What a punt! Down at the 2. He ran for 100 yards on... Wow, an 100-yard game. Good for him. That's one game. Remember when Jonah Gray, was that his name? Jonas Gray on New England had like that 200-yard playoff game and was never to be seen of again? Yeah, it happens. There are things that are called outliers that exist. This is a worse defensive game than the Giggle. This is fun. What are we talking about? This is fun. Safety! The Dreadnoughts take the lead. I believe that is Daniil Hunter. Jacoby Myers. So, apparently Hunter Renfro's spot on the Raiders is not locked up, which is stupid. What are they thinking? But, Jacoby Myers is probably the wide receiver 2 or the wide receiver 3 with a questionable quarterback who already is a go-to guy. But Jacoby Myers is good enough to where he should still be fine. But I wouldn't expect big numbers. If Devontae Adams gets hurt, maybe. But Devontae Adams is not an injury-prone player, so I wouldn't count on that. Watch this. Jamison Williams fantasy outlook. Watch what? How fast he is? Well, when J-Mo comes back, if he is the player we think he is, then I would be pretty high on him. Josh McDaniels fantasy outlook. His outlook is the unemployment line at the end of the year. 164 yards to 164 yards. What's my fantasy outlook? 30 points a week. Everybody wins their fantasy championships. But your team wins 4 games. I just got signed to the Patriots as a white slot receiver. Then yeah, my point stands. Your team finishes last in the division, but you turn into the second coming of Jesus Christ. That was a nice play by Kyle Pitts. I feel like if the Lions signed me to their active roster, I'd be a pretty good special teamer. Can you replace what C.J. Moore brought to the table? You probably don't even know who C.J. Moore is, buddy. The Raiders probably can't. I feel like they have to be able to afford it. Mark Davis is a billionaire. I know that's what the run rumor suggested, but there's no way that a billion-dollar organization does not have enough money to fire their coach. I feel like there has to be a loophole. CJ Moore was a safety. Now he's probably never going to be employed again, at least by the NFL. But yeah, he was a backup safety and a really good special teamer. I don't care. I'm diving headfirst in every tackle like a missile. Well, then they can toss you out of the game. If you're intentionally, cheap shotting people. Or very clearly, targeting them head first. The NFL cares about their concussions. They don't want you messing up people's brains, buddy. They don't want Roblox brains like you. 3rd and 1. Look at Hurts. He's in for a score, and the Dreadnoughts are ahead by 2 possessions. I got 2 concussions in 3 weeks. That would explain a lot. That makes a lot of sense. (23-14). Seattle's got to answer. That safety ended up being a big deal. To his brain, fantasy outlook. Well, if his brain stays in his head, then he could be pretty good. He's in a good offense. He gets to throw to Tyreek Hill. He gets to throw to Jalen Waddle. Both of them came on special teams plays. Well, then why would we put you on special teams if you're a danger to yourself and others? Don't forget Mike Gesicki. Does he know? Mike Gesicki's not on the Dolphins anymore, buddy. He plays for New England. Put me at left tackle. No one's sacking Goff. Have you ever heard of my good friend Taylor Decker? Fumble! Oh, they keep it. They went out of bounds. If I had 6 months to get in shape where I only have to focus on working out and Emmanuel Forbes gained 0 pounds, do you think I could break his tackle if I have a full head of steam? If you're going in fully and have 6 months to train, I think it's possible. Maybe. I mean, he's an NFL player, but he's also a twig who could use to improve his tackling. I mean, if you have 6 months to train, then I guess you could probably figure out a way to do it. Brandon Stanley, Fantasy Outlook. Fired, please. Free Justin. Good throw. Tyler Lockett's hurt. No! I feel like if I was in the draft pool, I'd be drafted in the 5th round. So you're saying you'd be picked before Sean Tucker? Like, I'm training in an NFL facility, and they are even helping me out. In that case, I think I would say yes. I don't know how confident I would be, but I think you could maybe do it. Greg Ruhrman, Fantasy Outlook. Ni hao. China. Might be the 500th UDFA sign. That's disrespectful to the 501st UDFA. I bet Hector's not even like 6'2". Watch him be like 5'8". Hendon Hooker, Fantasy Outlook. The bench. And Seattle gets the touchdown. Amari Cooper with his 2nd. I got a dream. I signed with the Lions. Got a 99-yard touchdown like Marshawn and blew up Quay Walker. Wow. Love how we barely talk about the game. We chose the wrong game to not be focused on because this game has been really fun. Seattle does start with the ball in the second half, which is a pretty big deal. So Dreadnoughts can score again. That'd be awfully helpful for them. And they've got their timeouts. And their offense obviously has been really good. Quay Walker, Fantasy Outlook. If there's a fantasy football for assaulting other teams' equipment managers, then he would be my first pick. What if one day you stream and I'm the only one that shows up? Then hopefully we have a blast. I don't know. Hector is actually 5'4". I wouldn't put it past him. A whopping gain of 3. I'm 5 feet 4 inches into your mom. That doesn't even... What? What's with the 5 feet part? That don't even work. I'm 5'11 at 12. Can't you not have like a Google account until you're 13? Isn't that breaking a rule? Ruh-roh. Got him. Aiden 2.0. Yeah, but Aiden's a different case. He's a worse case. Because one, he's younger. He was like, what, 10? 11? 10, I think? Along with the fact that he was also, like, special. That's the word. John Johnson with the sack. I've had an account. How can a 2-year-old make an account? I don't know if I could speak when I was 2 years old, let alone make a Google account with an email. And that'll wrap up the first half. 23-21. The Dreadnoughts with the lead, thanks to a safety. Am I calling Aiden autistic? No, I'm calling him, like, special in a bad way. You have to be 13. Yeet. Good night. When I was 2 years old, Octi was in middle school. I don't think that's true. Because you were 2 years old like 3 years ago. Aiden was banned in like January. He was never even really in OFL. He definitely was not a coach. Lord knows I wouldn't have let that happen. Do you believe my team is legitimately cursed? I think your team in OFL 21 was cursed because in the sim they made the NFC Championship like 6 separate times. In general, I would say no, because like, I mean, it is hard to build a championship team, especially now that we have more and more really good coaches. Which Aiden? Not the Alpo Aiden or Candy. This is a different Aiden who is like 10 years old, who's a literal child. Is this the best game of all time yet? No, that would be my first OFL Bowl championship against New England. That was better. Nothing will ever top that. I've had a playoff-ish roster with 0 appearances. Yeah, but, I mean, even so, you had the Bills and the Patriots always in the division. And those two teams have always been at the top. And the AFC's always been good. Aiden traded Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey for Tyler Lockett, Poona Ford, and a first-round pick. Yeah, that sounds about right. When I was 12, I joined. Yeah, we couldn't ban you because we didn't know that you were a child. Because, I guess I'm gullible. It says gullible on the ceiling, kids. Bacher last year was, who was Bacher again last year? Why am I blanking? He was, I'll know it when someone says it. It was, why am I forgetting? He was the Cardinals in 21, obviously. But the Beats! The Brooklyn Beats! That's right. I forgot the Beats existed. With Joe Burrow. Yeah. Okay, now I remember. And Bijan. They had Bijan. Okay, now I remember. I'm good. I'm 35 on weekends. Does that mean, you drink beer and you bang women? Haven't been a virgin since I was 8. My friend, you are a victim. Look at Jalen go! Nice run. You think I can beat Frank? Beat him in what way? Like, beat him as in whip him? Beat him as in beat him in something? Or beat him as in, like, beat him off? Hopefully not the last one. Unless it's consensual. Then I guess you guys can knock yourselves out. Oh, in OFL. Sure. I'm going to have the worst QB for season 1 of OFL 24. In that case, let me introduce you to my great friend, Zach Wilson. I think you found your guy. R. Kelly banged me. Do you know who H. Kelly is? Did he also bang you? Zach Wilson is too good. I wonder if Madden's going to give him a dev next year. Josh Rosen. Oh, he's even worse. That is a good choice. In OFL 21, I want Anthony Richard him. I love how you say that now, but like 2 hours ago you cut him. Aiden Turkey. Is that Charlie Brown? Hello, Chuck. In OFL 25, I want Ian Book. Bold to assume Ian Book's in the game in 2 years. He'll be off to the CFL. And I'm not talking about Canada. He's going to China. Ni hao. Is Turkey hurt? I don't think so. I mean, we'll check injuries at the end. He's not had a single catch. Well, then maybe he is hurt. If he doesn't have a single one. Especially with how he was playing this year. Jalen Hurts on third down is sacked. Darrell Luter, South Alabama's finest. We need the year one quarterback to be chosen Rosen. But based on how I figured out the expansion stuff, I think he would be a little bit better than Josh Rosen. Like, he wouldn't be good, but it'd still be someone's, like, backup. Whereas Josh Rosen's just absolutely pathetic. Do Nighthawk stats. Oh, at the end? Okay. Octi needs to do this, but NHL or NBA. Here's the problem again. First off, I don't know anything about hockey, so that just wouldn't work. Second of all, I'm not made of time. Again, I wish I was. But I am not. Yeah, like Kyle Trask, Drew Lock, maybe Malik Willis. That's sort of what I'm like looking at. Tannehill probably would be too good. I think the Titans would still protect him. But like, one of those other guys would make a lot of... That's sort of the mold I'm looking for. Marcus Mariota is also a good example. Yes, I think the Eagles probably would not protect him. Because I'm planning on having... If I do expansion, I'm laying out this whole plan. I would have, I think, 10 players protected on each side of the ball. But you can replace players with special teamers if you want. Like the Ravens, for example. Gardner... I feel like the Colts would protect Gardner Minshew, though. Because Anthony Richardson's unproven. And even so, I feel like for a Colts team with a young quarterback who's probably going to have some mistakes this year, I feel like they would almost rather keep Minshew. And it's not like they have a bazillion good players on offense they have to keep. But like the level of talent that Gardner Minshew is yes. As much as I love AB, I feel like we would be able to get someone better than Anthony Brown, even though he is my guy. And that'll wrap up the third, 26-21. The Dreadnoughts with the lead. The offenses were a lot quieter in that third quarter. Let me spend 2 weeks doing the Texans' protections. I'm also, on my list, I'm not including rookies. I wouldn't let rookies get drafted. So, like, the Texans wouldn't have to protect C.J. Stroud, for example, because he's a rookie. I feel like the Panthers would consider protecting Andy Dalton, even though Bryce Young probably will start. Andy Dalton's like a top 5, maybe top 3 backup in the league. Andy Dalton was like legitimately kind of good last year. Brock Purdy would definitely be protected. I think the Niners would protect both him and Trey Lance pretty easily. And I think they'd be stupid not to. I don't think the Niners would not let Trey Lance go for nothing. Because if they unprotected him, they know he would be the pick. So they would not leave him. Tyler Huntley was the number one backup last year. I think I'd pick Andy Dalton over Tyler Huntley. Although, I mean, they're not that far apart. But I think I'd pick Dalton. How about Darnold? That one makes more sense. The Niners probably would not protect 3 QBs. So, like, Sam Darnold could work, hypothetically. That would make sense. If they unprotect... they would not leave Trey Lance unprotected. I don't buy that. The trade rumors I never bought. I don't think they would. Trey Lance hasn't flamed out. He hasn't proven that he's not good. So I don't think the Niners would give up on him until he is proven to be bad. Which he is not. Mitch Trubisky would work. I think the Steelers are far enough along with Kenny Pickett to where they'd be willing to let go of Mitch. So that could work. And Mitch would probably be one of the best options. Matt Corral is definitely an option because obviously Bryce Young's there. I think they would protect Andy Dalton. So Corral's the odd man out. I don't think they would protect Corral. He could work. But I feel like everybody, at least in OFL, would hate that I'm using Matt Corral because everybody dislikes Matt Corral here anyway. But my heart would want to. My heart would love to use Matt Corral. Believe me. Clayton Tune's a rookie. I already said rookies don't work. Jeff Driscoll, I guess, could work. Brian Hoyer, Case Keenum, P.J. Walker. Those would all work. P.J. Walker would be a fun one. What team is P.J. Walker on now? He's not on Carolina anymore. Is he on a team? Let me see. Isn't he on Dallas or something? Oh, he's on the Bears. Oh. Yeah, I don't think they'd protect him. Nice touchdown for the Seahawks. Deebo Samuel puts him ahead. Tyrod Taylor. That actually is a good one. Daniel Jones got his big deal. So they don't need Tyrod Taylor. And I've always liked Tyrod. I like that one. 2-point try is good. Nice catch by T.J. Hawkinson. What is the city for the next expansion team in the NFL? Well, there haven't really been rumors about a real expansion team. So I don't know. Austin will be cool. That's a growing city. International is possible. I think the Commanders would honestly protect Jacoby Brissett because it doesn't seem like they don't know what they want to do with him and Sam Howell. I think they'd protect both of them. I think they really like Sam Howell. I like Sam Howell a lot too. I think he's going to be solid. But I think they would still protect Brissett. And again, a team like Washington, they don't have a bazillion really good players to protect on offense. They could fit it. If they didn't fit it, then I'd get it. And of course, Hector would love that, yes. He would love that. I already talked about Greg Dortch. I think he would make a lot of sense at receiver. I don't think the Cardinals would protect him. Again, he'd probably be their best unprotected player. So that one would unironically make a ton of sense. Commanders, they would protect... I don't know if they'd protect both of their running backs. Antonio Gibson's on the last year of his deal. I think they would definitely protect B-Rob, but I don't know if they'd keep Gibson over Jacoby Brissett. Gibson's fine, but he's not all that special. And with him being on the last year of his deal, I feel like they'd want to get the quarterback position right over Antonio Gibson. At receiver, I imagine they would obviously protect the big three. Terry, Jahan Dotson, and Curtis Samuel. I think that'd be pretty easy. Is Bobby Wagner too good to be unprotected? Bobby Wagner, types of players like him could be unprotected because they're older. I would guess he probably is too good. But I don't hate that general idea. Maybe not him specifically, but like somebody else like that. Like I feel like on the original expansion team, there could be some players who you're like, wow, they're pretty good. How are they unprotected? But it would make sense. Like older guys on bad contracts. I think the Bills would protect Dawson Knox, yeah. I think they would. I think they have a plan of using him and Kincaid. So I think they'd keep both. Zach Ertz or Trey McBride. They would definitely protect McBride. I think there's a good shot they'd protect Ertz too. But I think they would definitely choose McBride. Is Joe Mixon too good to be unprotected? Honestly, I don't think so. Joe Mixon's one I've kind of thought about a little bit because he's on a questionable deal. I think he's getting worse. I think that's possible. Deontay Foreman definitely would be unprotected, but I think there might be better available running backs. But Deontay probably would find a way to make the roster, knowing me, because he's my guy. Nice touchdown for Brock Bowers, Bengal legend. And so the Dreadnoughts take the lead with under 2 minutes left. I think the Ravens would protect Isaiah Likely because they like running a lot of two tight end things. Charlie Kohler's cool, but Isaiah Likely's proven to be solid. I think they keep him. Unless they absolutely can't. Because, I mean, the Ravens have to protect Justin Tucker. And they have a lot of other good players on offense. But if they could protect Likely, I think they would. Mixon did take a pay cut, you're right. So that helps his case. I think he'd be, like, on the fringe. Like, I think the Bengals would want to keep him if possible. But, like, there might be other players they prioritize. What about Zeke? Zeke's not on a roster. So that doesn't really work. I don't think I would want Zeke anyway. Ravens might not protect OBJ. I could see that. Because he's only on a 1-year deal. He's older now. He's injury prone. He might be too important for them to hold on to. But, like, I could see it. Nyheim Hines probably wouldn't. Because he's the third best running back on the roster. James Cook, I think, would be protected. And Damian Harris is better than him. So I don't think they would protect Nyheim Hines. He has special team ability, too, which is helpful. But I think they have more important players. Samaje's not on the Bengals anymore. He's on the Broncos. The Bengals, I think their next running back in line would be Chase Brown. If they had Pirine, it'd be a lot easier. I agree. Pirine's quite good. Devontae Adams. Yes, he's going to be on the top of the Raiders' unprotected list. Running the ball in the clutch is an idea. With the 1 seed literally on the line. This drive determines who will be the top seed in the NFC. How about Khalil Herbert? I think they'd keep him. Khalil Herbert's good. And he's younger than Foreman. There's timeout number 2. Field goal does nothing. They need a touchdown. I don't think they necessarily have to go for the end zone yet. They do have a timeout still. So they can be a little patient. As Hawkinson's out of bounds. Clock is stopped. Mahomes is 34 for 37. That's some MVP type stuff. Dot! What a throw! Jalen Naylor, never even heard of her. Touchdown for the Seahawks, and they'll take the lead with just a few seconds, 15 left on the clock. Patrick Mahomes might have won the MVP with that throw. He might have. Keyword is might, because we don't really have a favorite. But he might have won it. Now, the Dreads have 15 seconds and 2 timeouts. It's not over. It's unlikely, but it's not over. Okay, that's not a great start. Now they gotta go for the Hail Mary. They wasted 6 seconds and got nothing. Alright, this is it. They're not gonna get a field goal, so this play decides who will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Hurts goes deep. It is caught, I think, only at the 16. They complete the Hail Mary, but it doesn't have enough carry. And the Seattle Seahawks will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. The conference will run through them, and the Dreadnoughts basically put themselves at number 2. Hurts stat padding. Hurts' numbers were already really good to begin with, to be fair. I was curious to see if either quarterback would separate themselves in the MVP race. Not really. I mean, Mahomes has more yards and more touchdowns, but Jalen Hurts was just as good. He just threw the ball less. So it's hard for me to say one of these guys separated from each other. All right, I have to make sure Desmond Ridder is the starter again. I remembered. I already switched Baker and Watson. I'll double check, but I'm 99% sure I already did. Do I win? If you win this week and the Titans lose, you not only get the division, but you get the 1 seed. Who's hurt? I guess Quay Walker's the new one. Dislocated hip. He'll be out, I think, until the conference championship. If they make it, which, I mean, on paper they should. But now they're going to have to win 2 playoff games. Ridder and Nighthawks. Baker's already there. Can you get undrafted free agents? I guess if they're still in free agency, then yeah. If they're on a roster like Sean Tucker, no. But if the Bucks cut Tucker, which is possible, he's a 62 overall because EA is hating him, then he'd be fair game, yeah. And if Sean Tucker's available, I already know what I'm going to do. Malik Cunningham would be fun if he gets cut. He's an intriguing player. The Eagles, if they win, they're pretty much in. And they do. Over the Snowhawks, 48-42 in overtime. Both quarterbacks were very good. Bryce Young and Zach Wilson. Quite the QB matchup. Jackson Smith and Jigba, what a game. 229 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a loss. So the Raiders will get the West back if they win. The Explorers, they lose to the Steelers. So this officially puts the Dreadnoughts as the 2 seed no matter what, I think. Yes. Because the Explorers only have actually, Dallas could get 12 wins. I mean, San Antonio's basically the 2 regardless. Hayden Callaway and Travis Flight were both very good. So the Steelers, I think, would be probably back in 7th. Did Danny win? No way. Wow, they beat Tennessee in overtime. So the Niners probably are not getting Daniel Godley. This is actually really good because now we can go up to 2nd. Yes! Thank God. I did not want to be the 3 seed. I would rather be the 4 seed than the 3 seed. What a bad loss for the Titans. Now they're still 12-4. They're fine. If the Bills win, though, they get the 1 seed officially. The Geagles kill the Nighthawks 27-12. Yeah, I think it might be the end of the road in OKC. As for the Geagles, did they clinch? They might have. We might have our 7 teams finalized in the NFC. Looks like the Eagles are probably going to the playoffs after all that. The Jets lose to New England. The Patriots can still win the division if the Bills lose. If the Bills win, then New England's basically locked into the 5 seed. Actually, not really. They could still be 6. The Lions lose to the Cougars. So the Lions lost, the Nighthawks lost, then Mark said the Monarchs lost. So that would probably mean that I think everybody in the playoffs in the NFC is decided. I think the Eagles would be in, and the Commies would be in as the wild cards. Or Dallas if Washington won the division. I think the Eagles are 10-6 and the Eagles are 10-6. So I think all these teams are out. Monarchs got killed by the Raiders 40-10. So the Raiders are back in first place in the AFC West. They can clinch the division with a win. Bo Nix played like garbage. Wow, poor Monarchs. They started the year off so good. And then it has come back crashing down. The Nighthawks lost. The Nighthawks went 0-4 today. I should not have traded that pick. I'm happy about Cam Dantzler on my team, but I should not have traded that pick. The Oilers beat the Colts. That's good news for Indy. So with the Niners losing, the Colts are in a position where if they lose next week, they would get Daniel Godley. or they would get the right to pick Daniel Godley. I would think they would. I would hope. If I told you during the stream I blew it up that I was going to make the playoffs, I would not have believed you. And stubborn old me, held on to that pick. I could have traded that for Cam Dantzler, too. The Orbits lose to... What is going on in Memphis? The Steamers went 4-0 today. They had 4 wins going into the day. They doubled their win total when they were trying to tank. Is this team actually going to make the playoffs? They're tied with the Steelers. One of them probably ends up being 7. I don't know what to say about Memphis. That's insane. The Panthers, they get killed by the Bills. So any slight chance the Panthers had of making the playoffs probably was already dead. The Bills have now won the division, and at 14-2, they have clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC for a second straight year. Last year, they lost their first playoff game. This year, they're hoping for a little more luck. The Pats, I think they won. Poor them, though, because they have 4 losses. Yeah. The Raiders won. The Rams lose to the Desperados. Okay. This helps our draft pick. Even though we can't get Daniel Godley anymore, realistically, this is still helpful. Do I feel bad? I guess, yeah. You guys were supposed to make the playoffs, and you're not. So, yeah, it sucks to be you, I guess. I wouldn't feel bad if I still had your draft pick, but I don't. The Ravens. They lose to the Bengals. Clap it up. Cincinnati's now the 2 seed. I love it here. So the Ravens at 3 wins. I guess they could still get Daniel Godley, hypothetically. Matt Corral, he is him. Best game of the day for Matty C. Josh Jacobs, kind of quiet. Still very good for anyone else. Devontae played well. So, pretty successful day. We go 3-1. With our one loss being a really good performance against Seattle, who I think is the team to beat. So I'm pretty happy with how today went for the Bengals. And now, if we win in Week 18, we're going to be the 2 seed, which is a lot better than the 3 seed. A lot better. And we don't have to play the Bills until at the earliest, the conference championship. This is beautiful. What is going on in Houston? They lose to the Chargers. 28-23. What is going on in Houston? Now, the Texans are still going to be in the playoffs. They'll still probably be the 6th seed. But they had a chance to really capitalize and take control of their division, and they don't. The Texans are going to be in the exact same situation that they were last year. They'll probably play the Titans in the first round. It's just like them with the Oilers last year. It's literally the exact same. Bills 1, Bengals 2. Texans 6, and they play the team who won the division. It's literally the exact same as last year. That's insane. And the AFC West team is the 4 seed. It's literally the exact same as last year. If everything holds up. The Broncos won against Minnesota. So the Colts are the only team with 2 wins. The Colts are in firm position to get Daniel Godley. With Denver and the Niners winning. Man, if the Rams had just lost 1 or 2 more games, he could have been ours. Apple is in shambles. Apple is in shambles. I forgot he was the Broncos for a second. Ooh, Commanders-Cowboys. I'm very curious about this game. Ooh, Washington won! So they are tied. They split the season series. Wow. The NFC East just got real interesting. So Washington officially clinches a playoff spot. That was pretty much already a sure thing anyway. But now they're tied. We'll have to check the division tiebreaker. Wow, good for Washington. We saw the Cougars. I think we've seen everybody at this point. Yeah, they beat Detroit. Yeah, we usered San Antonio. Quite the Week 17. Nick doesn't get to use light mode. His eyes survive another day. Players of the Week. Bryce Young, Zach Wilson, Tyson Campbell, and Drew Tranquill. Has Josh Jacobs broken the rushing title yet? I have to see this. We're going to do more stats in a minute, but I have to see this. I don't think he has. Oh, no, he has. Perfect. 2,100 yards, 21 touchdowns. He's broken the rushing title, and he gets to play another game. Let me just check. Nobody else has broken it within OFL. That's the wrong button. That's also the wrong button. 0 for 2. There we go. Desmond Ritter is the all-time passing leader. What the hell? Rushing yards. Yep. That's Josh Jacobs' record, and he gets to play an extra game. But even though he played 18 games, he still broke it in 17, so it's not fraudulent. Let's take a look at your standings. Have we had new teams clinch? The Commanders, the Golden Eagles, and the Eagles are in. So the NFC playoff picture is basically decided. The 7 teams are already in. London, Detroit, Carolina, Oklahoma City. Good night. You're done. The 7 teams are set in the NFC. The 1 seed is set. The 2 seed is set. It's basically down to which team gets 3 and 4 and who wins the East. The AFC is a little bit more interesting. The Bills are 1. We should be 2. Maybe the Titans are ahead of us. Maybe. So we could still be 3. Damn it. That's not good. New England's going to probably be 5. Maybe the Texans. And then we have this disaster. So we've clinched the North. We're going to get 2 or 3. Probably 2, I think. I hope. Please, Jesus. The Titans and Texans both lost. Justin Herbert's contract is done. Whoa, $262. Good for him. Let's go Ducks. I'm happy for my Duck. So that domino's fallen. Hurts has fallen. Now Joe Burrow's next. Right? Or Tua. I don't think the Dolphins are going to pay Tua yet. The Bills won the 1 seed. New England's probably going to be 5. Those 2 are out. The Raiders can clinch the West with a win. They'll probably lose. And then it just comes down to what Portland does, because Portland beat the Raiders twice. Explorers clinch the North. They'll be 3 or 4. The Dreadnoughts will be 2. The Eagles will be probably 6 or 7. Maybe they move up to 5. The Cowboys, Eagles, and Commanders are all fighting for the East. Probably going to be one of these 2. I guess it could still hypothetically beat the Eagles. And then Seattle, they are officially the number 1 seed. It doesn't say they are, but we just saw them beat the Dreadnoughts. And Madden is usually pretty good about tiebreakers being right. So, yeah, they'll be fine. Here's the playoff picture. The Steamers are now 7. So Memphis controls their own destiny. Who would have thunk that? The Titans are still 2. Oh, no, that's not good. I don't like that at all. Dallas is still the leader in the East. Okay, we'll double-check tiebreakers and stuff. I don't think we played the Titans. Did we? I don't believe we did. No. And we play Minnesota this week. We should win that game easily. I don't want to play the Texans in the first round. What is the Steelers and Steamers head to head? Hold on. We'll get there. So we'll start with the NFC East. I know Dallas and Washington split. And they split within the division. The Eagles still play the Cougars. How did the Eagles do against those 2 teams? Let's see. Loss, win, loss. So they split with the Commies. And they swept the Cowboys. So if all 3 of them are tied, then the Eagles should win the division. If it's not a tie, hold on, let me check the tiebreaker rules. What would be after head-to-head and division? Is there a chance you can move up to 5? Yes, you can move up to 5. Would the next one be conference record? After division? Within a divisional race? I think it would be conference. In that case, NFC, it's the same, 7 and 4. No, before conference is common games. I don't feel like checking all that. I'll trust EA's judgment. The next all the other tiebreakers would be in the AFC. I know the Titans and the Texans split. What's their interdivision records? So the Titans still play the Oilers. So then it would be common games if the Titans win. Go Oilers. I don't want to be the 3 seed. What would the tiebreaker be between Tennessee and us? Okay, head-to-head, that's not applicable. Conference. The Titans in the AFC are 10-1. Christ, I don't like that. And we are 9-3. Okay. So the Titans will have the tiebreaker over us if they win the division. Oh, brother. We have to play Houston in the first round, probably. Yay. Oh, and then I want to check Steelers and Steamers. And, yeah, really just those two. We'll check head-to-head in a second, but let's check conference first, because their race is not for the division. In terms of conference wins, they're tied. Okay, what about head-to-head? Steamers won, lost. Okay, so they split. After that, it would be strength of victory. So that would be point differential. That would be the next one for the Steamers and the Titans. Or not Titans, the Steamers and the Steelers. So the edge there would go to the Steamers. So Madden's correct. That Memphis is currently the 7th seed, and they control their own destiny. Somehow. I still can't believe that. I made the playoffs. Yes, sir, you did. And you can still clinch the division, although it would take a lot. But it is possible. Let's look at Week 18. So, this game's irrelevant. This game is important for us. We're going to be either 2 or 3. I would way rather 2. I'd way rather not have to worry about the Texans in the first round. That's assuming that if everything holds to form. This game is very important for the Steelers. They're lucky they get to play Baltimore, whereas the Steamers play the Jets, who aren't much better. So if Memphis wins, they're 7th. If not, it goes to the Steelers. If not, it goes to the loser of the AFC West. I would think one of these two teams wins, though. Monarchs, Explorers, not important. The Explorers already clinched. The Commies need to win if they want to win the division. If the Titans win, they will clinch the division and be 2. Go Oilers, go. I want to be 2. The Geagles are playing for seeding. The Eagles are playing for seeding and division. Dallas is playing for the division. Seattle already is the 1. This game is unimportant. Go Nighthawks. This game is pretty much unimportant. The Snowhawks can still make it in if the Raiders lose, but they play the Chargers. So Portland could also still get a wild card spot, but all the teams they need to lose are playing against bad teams. The Texans play the Dreadnoughts. Houston needs to win to clinch the division. The Dreadnoughts are officially 2. Oh, what is this? Is this the Daniel Godley Bowl? I need to check the draft pick tiebreakers. Does this game determine who gets Daniel Godley? And then this game's unimportant. The Patriots will be 5, probably, and the Bills are already 1. I need to check draft pick tiebreakers. I know if the Colts lose, they would get it. But if they win, then what happens? Okay, so let's say the Colts, Niners, and Broncos are all 3-13. And the Ravens. I forgot about the Ravens, too. Oh, dear. What happens then? How many of those teams played head-to-head? I know the Broncos beat the Colts, but the other teams didn't play. I almost want to force win stuff in Sim a Week just to see what would happen with the draft tiebreaker and obviously not save it. Isn't it strength of schedule? Yeah, I don't feel like going through the whole strength of schedule. The Niners played against... Yeah, we don't need to count it. I'll just trust Madden's judgment. All right, let's do stats now. Everybody put your teams in. I know I got a request for the Explorers and the Nighthawks. Did my scheme change? If you didn't change it yourself, then it shouldn't have. I didn't change it unless you did. Then I would have changed it. We want the Nighthawks. There we go. It's a lot of TFLs for 2 people. They had 3 interceptions. Well, I would assume they've probably traded people, but still, jeez. And then the Explorers is the other one. Okay. Whoa, hello, Christian Kirk and Traylon Burks. I didn't realize they both were that good. After that, the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. Why is Samson Mabukum so good? After that, we've got the Commies. After the Commies, we've got the Bills. Can we see the Steamers? Yes, we can look at the Steamers. $22.5. That's a lot. Jets. After the Jets, I see the Geagles. Desmond King has 9 interceptions. Mans really thinks he's Cardell Simpson. $22.5 sacks for Hassan Reddick. Okay. After that, we've got the Texans. I'll check your playbook at the end. How many sacks does Rashawn Gary have? To be fair to him, he got all his sacks last year in Week 18, but... Zach Lawler, not too bad. 23. That's the same amount he had going into Week 18 last year. Anything else? Oh, Steamers, and then I'll show us. And with league leaders. Here are the Steamers. The Steamers! Is Bijan healthy yet? He is. He isn't. Has he been playing recently? He returned in Week 15. Okay, he had a good game last week. Still at work. Can you flip through my stats? I sure can. All right, Bengals are closer, so we'll start with the Bengals. Who dey? Trent McDuffie has 5 picks. I didn't realize that. Good for him. Mr. Jacobs, not too bad. 2,000-yard receivers, probably. 26.5 sacks for Garrett. That should be first place, isn't it? We'll check when we go through the entire league. I know I know Reddick is obviously close. Bosa, Parsons, but I think Garrett has the edge. That's my depoy. TJ Watt is 17. Not quite on Mr. Garrett's level. All right, let's look at the whole league. Best passer rating, 124 is ridiculous. 121 is also ridiculous. So is 117. Mahomes' numbers across the board are better than Jalen Hurts' now. Yards, touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, and he got the 1 seed. Interesting. There's Mac and Cheese Man. There's Lamar with his 15 sacks. Stetson Bennett, who played like 4 games and was good, was sacked the same amount of times that Lamar Jackson was. Josh Jacobs is a fraud. Okay, that's a take. We've had some crazy quarterback play this year. Holy smokes. Josh Jacobs obviously is the rushing champ by a lot. Zach Lawler leads in the yards. Wow. Brian Neal leads in catches. 2 rookies. The Rookie of the Year race between these two is going to be something else. I don't know who's going to win. Neal's 3rd in yards. Lawler is super high in catches, too. Lawler is the edge in terms of touchdowns, though. Does he lead the league? No. Amon-Ra St. Brown is 19. Woo, that's a lot. Most sacks allowed is still Jonah Williams, and then defense will do by conference. Sacks, Myles Garrett does have the edge, 22 or 26.5. Interceptions, most in the AFC is Trevon Diggs with 6. McDuffie is 2nd. Nice. Fumbles forced. A few guys with 2, including Derwin James and Tank Lawrence. Tank has 2 recoveries. That leads the way. In the NFC. Wow, the Nighthawks have 1 and 2 by a landslide. Sacks is Hassan Reddick. Interceptions, Desmond King with 9. J.C. Jackson with 7. Dre Greenlaw with 5. Fumbles forced 2 for 3 players. Nick Bolton has 2 recoveries. Could Nick Bolton be a decoy candidate? He's up there in tackles. He actually leads the league. Kickers. Do we have any perfect kickers still? I think we might have a couple. Oh, no, it was just Jason Sanders, and he is still perfect. Nice amount of extra points. And then most punts is A.J. Cole and Brad Robbins. Least is Ryan Stonehouse. Yeager Smirnov with San Francisco, 2 kick return touchdowns. And then here are the punt returns. Let's look at the full awards. MVP is Patrick Mahomes. Josh Jacobs chilling in 7th. Why is Zach Wilson here? Coach of the Year is yours truly. I like that pick. Josh Jacobs, obviously, is the Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC. Myles Garrett, Depoy. Time to sweep through these awards. We won't get the Rookie of the Years, though, obviously. Lamar, best QB. That would make sense. Jacobs, Zach Lawler, that makes sense. Quinn Miners, best offensive lineman. I guess it kind of has to be a Texan. Garrett, defensive line. So it's pretty much just us and the Texans here at the top. Oh, there's Harold Landry. And then best DB, Trayvon Diggs. Best kicker, Matt Gay. In the NFC, Nick Chubb is the Opoy. Depoy is Hassan Reddick. That makes sense. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Brian Neal. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Victor Boswell. Wow, the Rams had like 5 players in here. Yet they're still 4-12. Patrick Mahomes, best QB over Jalen Hurts. Nick Chubb, best running back. Amon-Ra St. Brown, best receiver. Mason Cole, best OL, okay. Hassan Reddick, best defensive lineman. TJ Watt, best linebacker. Desmond King, best DB. And Chad Ryland is the best kicker. I think the last thing we have to check is injuries, and then we're good. All right, let's see the injuries. Julian Blackmon tore his Achilles. He might miss part of next year. Yeah, he will. Poor guy. Matthew Morrison, that's new. Shaq Leonard, that's new. Tyler Lockett tore his labrum. He will miss up to the conference championship game, so he'll miss 1 playoff game. Nothing for Cincy. Good. Javon Holland broke his wrist. That's new. Tony Pollard and Jahmyr Gibbs are hurt for the Desperados. I mean, they do have Will Shipley, too. So I think that just about covers it. That was a long one, almost 3 hours. Yeah, long stream here. We went through 4 full weeks. Very exciting stuff. We've got 1 more week to go. And the plan is that stream, as of now, will be Thursday. We're going to run on an every other day schedule through the OFL Bowl. As of now, that is subject to change. But that's the plan for right now. So I hope everybody enjoyed. And we'll be back